So, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. We are going to continue with our studies from the book Joanna de Angelis, psychography of Divaldo Franco. The name of the book is Alert. It's not yet published into English. This is the first translation that we made with the permission of the mention of the way layout publisher. And as always, we remind you that we are recording our meeting. And if you, for some reason, do not feel comfortable in showing your face or your name, you just remove, the your video, and you can change your name on the screen, and this way you can protect your identity. Okay. So today we have challenge of charity. If you do remember, last week we talked about this topic as well, when Joanna de Angelis explained about patience and charity. And so mostly also talking to us that so many other forms of actions can also be understood as being an act of charity. And today she will keep on the same line, showing other ways that we can do that. So I'm going to, as always, I'll be reading the little parts, and then you are all welcome to comment and to make your questions. Okay. So, challenge of charity. Every time the theme of charity is raised for consideration, remember that charity is the light of reason maintained by the fuel of emotion, projecting clarity through the path of shadows of those who advance with suffering or limitation. Charity results from the inexhaustible emanation of love. Charity is built in personal effort, and it is fortified in the sacrifice of those who cultivate it, without which charity is no more than the transitory pleasure of philanthropy or emotion. The more difficult the circumstance to practice charity, the greater it becomes. That is why its exercise has an immense elasticity, transcending material donations, which are equally its respectable manifestations. Charity becomes sublime and sanctifies those who intend to live in the arena of moral contribution. So here, Joanna de Angeli is first trying to explain to us what kind of charity she's talking about, and how can we qualify charity. So she puts it here like it being the fuel of emotion, the one that projects clarity throughout the roads that we may find filled by the shadows. So she makes it in such a poetic way. She presents the definition of charity to make us at least wonder about the wonders of doing it. And then she goes on explaining that charity comes from one source, that is love. Uh, I know that we have just one word to define everything, but here we are talking about unconditional love. We are talking about the love that nourishes, the love that is divine, the love that is sublime, and that even us, human beings on this earth, are capable of, you know, up to a certain point, experienced due to determined actions that we can decide to take. Then goes to the point of saying that the charity that she's talking about here It's not exactly philanthropy, because we can always practice good without any kind of emotion attached to it, which is not the same of us feeling, and due to feeling, due to compassion, due to mercy, we act on it by practicing acts of charity. So anyone can do it, but there are many different ways of doing it. And the right way would be, I mean, the right way for us, because for the one that is receiving, it doesn't matter that much. But it matters, our intention and what we are doing with that. Am I doing it just because, if I do good, God is going to see that I'm good, and then good things are going to come in my favor? Or because, you have a sense of fear and duty. If you don't do good, bad things are going to happen your way? Or because you feel really that this is you don't even question, it's an emotion, like she says here, that is important for us to practice. uh, and then she comes to the point of saying, the harder it is to do it, the more valuable it has, which led me to the lesson that we studied last week in terms of being patient, and also that she's going to mention some points here in terms of being charitable with our family members, not necessarily loved ones, because they can be family members without being loved ones, right? So, you know, and then we think about, oh my God, those are the people that I want to escape more, right? The hardest one. And here she's saying those are the ones that count more as well. And in this way, because of the big scope of what doing charity really means, is when she says that it has such an elasticity, because we can it's more than just what we can think at first, like donating money, donating clothes, or even perhaps a little time of your week. It's so much more than that. And but of course she says, in any form, anything that we can do, it already counts, is already important, and it's going to help people, and eventually it's going to help us as well. Questions, comments? You're on mute.
Sorry. I think we
Uh,
don't recognize the fact that everything we do to help others is charity, no matter what the field. Some of the things that come to mind are financial, which we have difficulty with because whatever I give you means I have less to play with. Notice I didn't say use.
yes.
But there are many circumstances that we all come in contact with where we can see that people need help. And our charity, therefore, can be to help them in different ways. And, I see this morning, I passed by several people on the street who essentially are sitting on the street at 7:30 in the morning. And I try to be prepared to assist them when I go out during the day. I don't always succeed because sometimes my mind goes somewhere else, but I'm constantly reminded of people in need. And it's not just the people on the street. There are people, well, I have over the time had different properties where people have gotten into trouble in terms of their finances. And that's one place where you read in the papers about the nasty landlord who throws people out the minute they can't pay. But there are circumstances in which you just, if you yourself are okay, let other people live also.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Then what Felipe mentioned, it's every time it's easier to help or to charity people when you see need. But the challenge of charity many times is with people who has everything and is still in shadow, is still blind for with the selfish in their life. Then for me, it's always people like things a challenge for me. When this sentence projected clarity through the path of shadow, then this is a challenge for me especially. Then because we can give a word, we can give an example, we can give your love, your understand, your patience, then it's not like material, but it's part of yourself.
I was thinking, I mean, without any intention of become political and bring politics into our studies. I think even, uh, the this situation that we are living now in terms of, people asking us to vote. I think that sometimes we don't go through that in a selfish way, because we just don't want to get to the trouble of perhaps, now you can even send a letter from your house, but you say, oh, my vote is not going to make a difference. And you're not thinking about the rest of the rest of the country, the rest of the world, the whole situation of what a simple omission could signify. So, and here, since we are talking about selfishness in a way, or, I don't care. It's not my problem. There are so many people that will be saying that. But this is a lack of charity in thinking about the big whole and the big occasions that many times we live when we are before those kind of situations. And we will not never think about it as charity, or as, giving any kind of contribution to society, right? This is a contribution to society, right? I mean, to exert your power to think about a good direction. So let's meditate about this, another form of yet another form of practicing charity. So she continued. Yeah,
Comment.
sure.
When we think about our vote, think about the fact that not voting is a vote against what you believe in.
Yeah. Yeah. Or what others believe in, and you're not making your part, you're not making a contribution. So that's why I think in terms of this lesson, uh, all the actual things that we are living in our lives in society, they do matter, and they do represent us caring for each other. I may not understand about it, I may not like it, but at least, like you said, if I can tilt the balance in the direction of people that care and understand, and help them to be able to promote this. I mean, if I don't do that, I'm lacking this opportunity of serving, of doing something, right? So that's why I think it's very appropriate to go in this direction, as well as thinking about an act of caring about others. So charity's challenge are not few. The delinquent, through the unfortunate action for which they are now responsible, inspire animosity. To love them in the condition of a person who is ill and in need of recovery, this is charity. The rebellious individual provokes an equivalent reaction of aggressiveness. To help them with patience until we win them over to stability, this creates relevance to charity. The person with whom you are vexed or who provoked your antipathy represents a test for your spiritual achievement. To overcome the negative situation and bring them to the domain of your heart is a charity of significance. An ingrate naturally inspires contempt, if not indifference. To proceed in helping them, although there are difficulties in the relationship, represents elevated charity. Whoever offended you for any reason, legitimate or unjust, as if someone who offends another could be in the right, provokes unnatural withdrawal. To insist in a cordial action with oblivion of the transgression constitutes true charity. So here, just in case we are like, oh, I don't know how to do it. What is she trying to talk about? What could be a situation that I am helping, or that I could help, and I'm not seeing this as help or not doing it? So she puts a full stop on our questions and say, there are delinquent, rebellious, person that vexed or provoke your antipathy, the ingrates, anyone that has offended you. And then she probably, if she could, she would add a paragraph saying, do I need to go on? Do you want me to continue the list? Or you already got the picture of what we are trying to talk about here? I mean, those are just few examples. Everyone that falls into those categories and so much more, like she says, it 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 makes you sick sometimes, right? To your stomach. But what should you do? You offer charity, right? Nobody's saying that is an easy thing for us to do. But this is what a true Christian, a true spiritist, a person of good will actually be striving to do. Uh, it doesn't mean that, like we always say, we are going to be successful in our first attempts, or with everyone that comes and falls into those categories. But it doesn't mean as well that we have to give up, and that we have to think that they do not deserve our attention. If we are really trying to go through this right path, there is no other way than for us to exercise this. Let's see, there is a question, Perla. Does the forces of good and evil play a part, speaking spiritually, in politics? Always, Orlando. Unfortunately, the good and the bad, but especially the bad, they meddle a lot in our affairs. Why do I say the bad? Because most of the time we are more open to those negative influences than the good ones. The good spirits are always very busy. The bad are just there to provoke as much turmoil as they can. Even when we read the book Nosso Lar, there is this passage and this chapter that they comment about the Second World War and how there are so, negative force trying to inspire, inspire in a negative way, people to foment even more this desire to confrontation and to aggravate all the battles and etc. So yeah, we see that in the spirits book, in that chapter that talks about the influence of spirits in our thoughts. And then the spirits, when Kardec asked that to the spirits, and the spirits reply, their influence on your day-to-day life is much greater than you imagine. But always remember, they only influence us because we allow them to do so, be it the forces of good or the forces of bad. Unfortunately, most of the time we are connecting with the side we should not be connecting. And now, that, all those spirits from the shadow that do not want, the world to progress, that do want us to be more distracted with matters that of course touches our lives, day-to-day lives, directly, instead of thinking about our personal improvement, our personal goodness. So yeah, they will be trying their best uh, to make all the countries be more distracted about their internal situations and politics than actually people having time to think about themselves and to do something about themselves, because there is too much to worry about outside. Any comments, question? It's a very good question, Orlando. A hard one. I mean, in terms of what can happen. That's why, uh, again, we we forget to pray for our politics, and for whatever reason, of course, we barely sometimes pray for ourselves, right? But this is something that we should always remember in our prayers, to pray for our governors, because our emotional stability is directly connected with what is happening in the country that we live. There is no way that this will not impact us uh, in so many aspects, economical aspects, the progress, all the things that we have to battle all the time. Okay. Any questions, or should we go on? Okay. So this is the last part then. Practice charity towards all through an inner revolution of personal mastery. Always use charity as a guideline. Its presence is never too much. No one should disregard it. Without the charity of God, the Creator, towards us, we would proceeded in primitivism, or still retain our barbarism. Charity, therefore, feeds life and impels towards peace. Do not forget that charity is the love that expands and the love that resumes in harmonizing force, crowning all the ministry of love with the star of first order amongst virtues, the moral charity of Christ on the cross expressed itself in forgiveness towards all perpetrated faults committed against him, and incorporated itself in his return, patient in the cohabitation with his debilitated companions, in the splendid sunrise of his perennial resurrection. So here, even using the example that Philip gave, sometimes, we go stroll down the street and we see so much people in need like it's happening now. There is always a way for us to help, even if it's to send in a thought of compassion, to think, oh, please help them. Please alleviate their pain. This is help. This is assistance. And this comes from a heart, like Joanna de Angelis is saying, from a heart that is already compassionate enough to pay attention to what is going around with our brothers and sisters. It could be us, it could be a loved one in that position. And we would like at least, a thought of compassion, of mercy towards them. If we cannot do something more directly, I mean, for whatever reason, there is always this resource that we can do. Sometimes when we go in the subways, public transportation, there are people that you look at them and you see how much pain there are in their faces, or disturbance. You look at someone and you clearly see so much disturbance, and even spiritual influence. We can always send a thought of uh, of compassion, or this prayer like thought in the direction of this person that can be enough for a spirit to reach the person and help in a more effective way. So we should not take for granted those moments as well. I mean, if we don't have anything else, at least that we can give a thought of compassion, and not judging, and not saying, why are they doing that? Why are they on the streets? Oh, they're getting in my way in the view of my beautiful city. You see? No, let's think about what has led them to be living that situation, and not assuming, especially now, that it's because of their own will that they want to be in that position. Okay. And finally, she says, want a good example? Well, Jesus is always the best one. Even when he was being crucified, he has only given love to each and every one. He was still thinking about us, thinking about all the pains that we would have to endure, for still choosing the path of shadows instead of the path of enlightenment. And it's something that is still in our hands today. What kind of path are we going to choose for ourselves? Um, and another thing, that when we are talking about this, you know, charitable emotions and actions, while we are doing that, we are just sending energy out in the world that refers to good things, and that are connect us to good spirits, to good energy as well, as opposed to when we are in just those sense of rebellion, of questioning, of everything else. We are just attracting the negativity towards us. Let me see. Is the destiny of the homeless related to spiritual trials? Um, it's so hard. There is always one thing that I say, Orlando. Unfortunately, we do not have a single answer to a question. There are many, many reasons why someone may be living this situation. One of them, without a doubt, being a trial one. There is one of the books from the Spirit Emmanuel by Andrea Lewis, from the series of romances, where they talk about pilots, the Ponce pilots, right? This is the way I say it. Yeah? Yes, or, Soraya, you're on mute.
Yeah, Pontius Pilate. Yeah.
Pontius Pilates, okay. And sometimes, those names, especially in Latin, I don't know how to how to say that in English. So Pontius Pilate, that in his future reincarnation, in the next reincarnation that he had, considering everything that he could have done and he didn't, he was a beggar. And we are talking about a very important, you know, person in the Roman Empire. So, but on the other hand, I remember a story by the Chico Xavier that he said that they used to, in the meetings they had there, uh, in the spiritist meetings, every now and then, a very, very poor person, a man, would come to stay there for a moment, to greet him. And the way that they describe and they tell us the story is that, of course, because of the condition of this man, he his appearance, you can only imagine, was very bad, and that he smelled terrible. And people normally would question, how could Chico get close to that man, embrace that man? And it seems that every time that this man went to the center, Chico would stop everything and would go straight to talk to this man. Until one day, Chico revealed that he was a very, very enlightened spirit that had chosen that situation in his life to help other poor people, to endure with the circumstances of their lives. So you see, and then for us to say, no, this must be a trial, this must be an expiation, is very, very hard. But uh, we could say that in many, many cases, that would be the situation. Not because we need to learn to be poor, or we need to learn to beg, but maybe, to give importance to, or to exercise more humbleness, or, to help others exercise more their compassion, or because, yeah, I had such a wonderful condition in the past and I never helped anyone. Now I'll have to kind of leave a situation where, even if it's temporary, that I will understand what it means not to have this possibility. So there are many, many possibilities, but without a doubt, this one is one of them. I mean, certain questions we do have to extend the answer a little more, because for the sake of not being uh, uh, incomplete. right? Like for instance, sometimes when we see people that presents any kind of physical impairment, first thing we will say is, oh, they did something bad in the past. This may be the case, but we commonly forget that we all did bad things in the past. Perhaps all of this in store for us in the near future. And those people already have the courage to say, okay, send it now because I want to eliminate my debts. I want to learn and to be able to move forward free of any feeling of guilt. So there is another way of seeing the situations, right? And they always say when there is not that much complaint about situation is because it was really a trial that was chosen and that is going to promote spiritual involvement. Questions, comments? We still have some time.
Just a general comment that much of what we learn here during our lives, we learn is absolutely correct. And I'm not going to go into details, but it's just amazing to me how much if we look at all the situations that we study, the more we study, the more we learn about things that before Spiritism we would have thought were impossible, are actually accurate representations of life.
And this is actually the whole objective of Spiritism, because like I normally say, Spiritism is not here just to bring us more theories, uh, or a different proposal. It has to be something that it deals directly with our day-to-day living. Of course, we will read, of course, we will debate about it. But at the end of the day, it's like you said, it has to have a practical application. And like you say, when we use those lessons and we apply them in our day to day lives, the result should be our lives are going to be so much better. Even if we are going through struggles, I mean, the struggle that I understand why am I going through, and that I know that they are, just passing struggles, and that they serve a purpose, and that I can learn from them, and not and help me to get to have more strength and not getting into a state of despair. This is help enough for us to be able to deal with everything else, right?
Absolutely.
So next week we are going to talk about inner refinement, which is a very good lesson as well to talk about it. Okay, now let's stop sharing this.
I have a question, but
Okay.
you close the screen.
Oh, I
Then
can
why
open again.
It's okay, but I'm asking you then
Ah,
why she in that sentence she said the charity, it's a revolution, a personal revolution, a inner
yes,
revolution.
yes. I
Yes,
remember. This is an
yes,
intriguing phrase.
yes, because usually every time when you able to share with the other something good, will feel good. You not feel like a revolution inside yourself, like something in evolution, but
Okay.
you feel calm, relax, and not an evolution. Yeah.
Because remember that in the previous paragraphs, she said, you have to be charitable to that person that is still talking bad about you.
Okay.
This is a revolution. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you, your inner self saying, no, I don't want to do that. I cannot do that, right? The person doesn't deserve that. But I'm learning that if I keep on, having those kind or nourishing those kind of emotions, I'm the one that is going to be feeling bad about it. I'm the one that is compromising my health because I'm putting too much importance in a person that is, talking bad about me, or, so this is why she's talking about this inner revolution, because like you were saying, to practice charity with this emotion that, oh my God, I'm magnanimous. I just donated, I don't know how much, for people that I know they are in so much need. Okay, please continue doing so. But this is what she's saying. This is easy, or it should be super easy, especially when we are able to do that. Or if someone asks us, can you stay in the hospital the whole day with me because I have to go to a procedure. I wouldn't like to go there by myself and to live by myself. We can all accommodate and do something about it. Even if we cannot go personally, maybe we can intermediate for somebody else to go, right? It's not just about money here. It's also about all those other things. But those are let's say, easy ways of practicing goodness, of practicing charity. But when it causes that causes an inner revolution that is against, your core as an imperfect human being, those are the ones that she says at the end of the day uh, are more important. It's like, Jesus, come on, he only did good for us. Now he's there being whipped and mocked and thrown stones and God knows what else, and names, and nailed in a cross to die of asphyxiation before his mother. And then he has to say, I forgive you. uh, no comment. What else can I say, right?
Easy to understand.
Yeah, but this is really something that it's that statement from Joanna de Angelis. When I read it, it was very intriguing. And to tell you the truth, I just got the answer when you asked the question. I didn't know before that.
Thanks to be inspired.
Yeah. Thank for the inspiration, because when you started asking, I said, oh my God, I knew someone was going to ask that, and I don't know exactly what she's trying to talk about it. And all of a sudden, like a burst of inspiration, I got an answer. I don't know if it's the right one, but it's the answer that I got.
I think it is. Yeah. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, the other day, I don't know where I heard it from, probably one of the teachers or lecture, but someone had said that when you give, kind of confusing, but I think I understand, but okay. And what it said was, give what you need. When you give charity, give what you need.
ah,
How much? You understand? So, okay, then I contemplated and I said, okay, uh, if I need to pay this and do this and buy this, my needs. But I think it's great because it's challenging you. If what you have is your needs, so give from what you have. But then when it says needs, it's a little confusing, but I think it's extraordinary to say something like that. Give what you need.
when you were saying that, what came to my mind was the golden rule. Do to others what you want others to do to you, which represents exactly like that. Let me think, what do I need? What would I like others to be doing to me? And what could be my power to do to others? I think it's very much in those lines of you know but again, we always have to think about the possibilities and not feel guilt.
Right.
Like, let's say someone says to you on the street that they are like 2 days without eating, and you have a banana and you give a banana. Let me ask you something. After 2 days without eating, one banana is going to satisfy or appease your hunger. But this is what you have at the moment.
Right.
So give that. Some people may say, well, what a difference a banana will make. In an empty stomach, it will make a lot of difference. It may still not be enough, but if everyone would be giving their bananas, right? The little thing that everyone can do, it would be enough for a fruit salad, right? If you give apples and etc. So because also we cannot feel guilty. The idea here also is not to feel intimidated, like, no, I have and then I have to give because God is going to it always turns to the same atavic emotions that we've been, and the guilty that we've been imprinted for many incarnations. um, you say, okay, even if you have to confess to yourself, I know I could have done more, but I'm only willing to do that. I'm only willing to go one step, not 10. So at least do the one is better than saying, since I cannot do the 10,
I'm not gonna give the
it's
banana.
not going to matter anyway. Okay. So you're being true to yourself. You're saying, I'm not, I mean, I am not, I don't know yourselves, to be that example of the widow's mite. Do you remember the example from the passage of Jesus that she gives everything?
Right.
I'm not there yet. I wish I could say I were. Okay. She gave everything.
Yeah.
And so many other examples that we have of people that gave everything. But I'm not there yet. I'm hoping to be sometime soon. I don't know how many incarnations. But in the meantime, whatever gives balance, say, okay, I'm not that kind of, St. Francis of Assisi, that I go even without my clothes away from the house or etc. But I can do something already, and this for the moment is enough. And I'm happy that I'm already doing it. Because otherwise, you will still be doing and not feeling emotionally happy. And if we don't feel emotionally happy with our action, chances are you're not going to be repeating it. But then you say, oh my God, I felt so good when I gave $10 to that person that I need, that I know, or that I gave this banana. You know what? Next time I'm going to bring two bananas in my purse. Okay. So because it went with an emotion that is going to be so fulfilling for ourselves, that is even addict in a way, but in a good way, because it's a good feeling. It's something that we want to replicate. So I think this is the way, from considering our level of involvement, uh, not comparing to others. Oh, that person does so much. It's so charitable. Like, my son the other day, she came, oh, you have a place in the heaven, mom. Said, well, I'm not so sure about it, from his perspective. right? But I mean, it's not the other's perspective that matters, and we're not here competing. We're doing what we can, right?
Yes, that lesson gave me like, it's hard. It's a kind of hard because is what I understood is that everything, all the actions of charity you're doing, you have to put your love above all to that. So it doesn't matter the amount or what are you doing, but if you do with the love. So, and like Zoraida was saying about the do what you need. So give what you need. So the love I need, I have to do also. So it's a really profound, and this is make me think that the responsibility we have when we to be in the present moment when you are doing things. If I go to, let's say, to the grocery and I say, and the person start working, and I just say, oh, I need this thing over here, I don't know, and then just to be the present, hi, how are you, see the person, and then start to, okay, oh, it's good, and oh, I need that. So sometimes we do things so fast, because when you see all the lesson is everything you do is a charity, all your actions, your examples, and so be at the present moment and put it love. Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes Divaldo is calling. Is lately, for the past 1 or 2 years, he has been calling our attention a lot to what they call the invisibles, which is, someone you go to the movies, there is that person there cleaning the toilets. We don't look at the person. We don't say hello. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for cleaning up and making it so nice for us to come here. And sometimes you may even throw $100 bill to someone that is begging on the street without looking at that people's face. And maybe if you put there a cord and say, I'm sorry, I really just have that. I hope you have a blessed day, that many other people can help you. That would be so much more valuable at the end of the day than just $100 bill in a way, you know. So this is exactly what you're talking about, Vera. And those acts of kindness, we can all do that. We can all do that. We can all do that all the time. And we are missing so many opportunities. So many opportunities. Sometimes, barely when we leave our homes or get into the elevator with other people, we look at them, we say, I really hope you have a nice day today. Not like, the I'm never going to forget that, Unread. Bless your heart. No, we just really going to say, I really hope you have a very nice day today, or something like that. I know sometimes, we don't do that because we feel shy. There are not much reception. But yeah, I mean, perhaps other things.
But you were saying about bless your heart. One other positive thing I felt with my short stay in the South is that everybody says hi to everybody. Even if you're crossing the street sometimes, at least that was my experience. If you're in an elevator, they always say, hi, have a good day. It's just, they seem to be a little bit more friendly than us up north.
Yeah.
My experience, so, which is nice. It just
Yeah.
changed. It does change your mindset. I remember when I first arrived there, how we are in New York, we don't even look what we're doing, we just do it. And I got surprised, so that was nice.
Yeah. So you see, it's all of us can do something. Yeah. Okay, so this is it for today. Zoraida is going to do the final prayer, right?